Bonjour et bienvenue sur l'œil d'Ophidia. Je suis très content de vous retrouver. Je suis très fatigué, mais je suis également très content de vous retrouver parce que aujourd'hui je suis avec notre ami Joris Verhelst, qui vient de gagner. Il revient du Pro Tour, il revient du calling et il a remporté le calling, notre calling champion pour 2022 à Lille. Joris, salut Joris,
Ouais, ça va.
ça va bien?
Ça va bien.
Bon alors, Joris parle français. Mais on en a parlé avant, on s'est dit que c'était quand même mieux de faire l'interview en anglais, donc on est désolé, on va pas vous la faire en français. J'essaierai de prendre le temps de vous faire les sous-titres, vous devriez les avoir sous peu. Mais I think it's better if we speak English, isn't it?
Yep,
Right?
that
Okay.
seems about right.
Let's do that then. So how do you feel? When did you come back to your place? Where do you live, by the way?
I live in Ghent in Belgium.
Okay.
Um, yeah, came back yesterday evening. Yeah, still hang around with some international people,
Okay.
friends I met along the way in Utrecht and here now in Lille. And we hang around in Lille for like the day until we then finally went home to Ghent.
So, calling champ then, how does it feel? I mean, it's kind of a basic question, but how do you feel? Are you proud? Is that an accomplishment that you've wanted for a long time? Uh, Tell us more about it.
It wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't really an accomplishment that I thought was in this realm of possibilities. It's more of a what that I actually got to do that. Like,
Mhm.
I like performing, I like competing, and I like doing my best at events like this in a game that I enjoy. But actually winning an event this big, yeah, I didn't even dream of it. So yeah, it feels amazing, of course. Totally blown away, and like yeah, the whole experience was amazing. Um, and I just kind of feel like doing more now.
Compete more. Yeah, we saw that you were quite emotional at the end during the ceremony. I was on the podium on the ceremony, and I was with James White, and he came and gave you the trophy. What was going on? What was going through your mind at the moment? Were you like, wow, is this a dream, or is that, yeah, I worked hard for it, so I deserve it? How did you
No, it
feel?
was certainly more on the wow, I can't believe this actually happened than oh, certainly I did do some work, and I'm very happy that I did some work beforehand before this event, but it wasn't never like even the ambition, I guess. Was more like the ambition was top 8ing. That was already very, very good. So actually winning and yeah, no, that was surreal.
So yeah, I think it's fair to admit that for the watchers that we met the week before the calling, and I was staying with you guys with the Belgian pro players at a house in Lille, and we talked a lot about your deck choices for the calling, and at the beginning of the week you weren't really sure that you were gonna be playing Prism. So can you talk more about your training process, how you came to choose this, who did you train with? If you want to make a shout out to the guys that you play with in your meta, what was the process coming into this calling event?
So actually, I joined the house. We have like a group of like mostly Belgian, but also some French competitive players
Mm-hmm.
that really like testing together to like gain an edge over the competition. And so for Lil, it seemed only nice that we could get some draft practice in. And so Glenn and Kevin arranged for us to have like a house where they could test with 8 people to have like drafts in, and meanwhile test some CC as well for the upcoming Pro Tour in Lille, because they had PTIs to go to the Pro Tour. I didn't, and then
So
they
yeah, yeah.
searched and
Just I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. Just is Glenn Van Roy and Kevin Lawrence. Kevin
yes,
is a national champ from Belgium, and Glenn is a very very good player from Belgium. He always top eight the events he goes to. I mean, I see his name all the time. If you've seen the streams on Loidophilia, he's always there at some point during the brackets. He's always in the top tables. So yeah, go on. Sorry, I just cut you off because maybe people don't know about these guys, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. So and then they looked for people that wanted to join them in the house for testing. So of course we got some so people who wanted to play the Pro Tour. Of course, they were the first choices. We had Martin from
Martin
France.
Kravis, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Iluche,
We
yeah.
had yeah Wim Iriano, who played the Pro Tour with Dash.
Mm-hmm.
We had um what's the oh, sorry, I'm like blanking. That's Kevin.
Sébastien
Yeah,
Spiliart,
Sebastian Spilar, but he joined later.
yeah.
But yes, he was also
Alex was
he was
there.
also and then yeah, so that was it I think for the players who played the Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, the rest was people that wanted to help testing and were there for you know, to have a good calling event. So that was then me and Alex and Michael, a friend of Glenn, who helped us out as well. And then of course Euroma were there for the whole
Just
4
to
days.
absorb, yeah, all the emulation and all the excitement about the competition, and to watch you guys play, to get ready for the to get into the commentary booth. And it was really helpful because I have to say, you really are all great players. I mean, not all of you obviously went to the top 8, and you're the only one that won an event, but all of them are amazing players, and I don't think their records reflect how good they are. So get ready to see to hear more of these of the French and Belgian competitive players in the coming months.
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel like I was the best player there at the house, but I just was trying to do my best. I thought I more enjoyed the limited format actually, like the
Yeah,
drafts and such, than the like the constructed portion, which like to be fair, like the deck that I used was almost entirely based off of the list of Jérôme Bastogne, um,
another
very
Belgian player.
competitive Belgian Prism player who unfortunately couldn't like didn't have the time to go to the house with us, but he was there for the calling event. So yeah, much props to him for the list that I ended up using.
And
But
so
like most
why did you choose Prism? Because we talked about it for several times, and you had no idea what you were gonna pick. So you test many different decks. Why Prism in the end?
Well, because it was comfort. So in the end, I got in less
Mm.
practice than I had hoped on CC and definitely on like heroes I was maybe willing to play. So I had my Prism, but also my Icelander with me as two potential choices, decks that I have played before and was feeling comfortable with. But I also was prepared to like switch to any deck that we found that was like way better than the rest. That being Briar, Viserai,
Mm.
Dash, Fi, any of like the premier aggro decks. But after the testing, like it didn't really feel that way. That any deck was like a standout. That any deck was like way leagues above the rest in terms of results. So I just ended up with going with what I knew, what I understood best, and just trying to play it as best as I could. I made like a little bit of changes to the list at the end, but nothing major actually changed for me. It was more about helping the guys that went to the Pro Tour test their heroes into what I played, which would then be Prism and Icelander mainly, as well as I jammed some games of Briar because we didn't have a Briar tester at the house
So how
for
did
them.
the tournament go? I don't remember your exact record in the rounds. Was that
Yeah,
12?
so I went 10 and 3, total of 13
Okay.
rounds. So the first day I was a little and that's something of course like you have to factor in. Um something winning a tournament like this is part skill of course. I think I did my best on that part, but it also is a part luck, and I must say that the part luck was very much in my favor in this tournament. I just think you need something like that to happen to you. Otherwise, like you'll just get unlucky somewhere and it will go wrong and you won't make it. That can always happen. So for me, I was very lucky with my pairings. I faced 0 fights throughout the course of the entire tournament, which is like
Was it a
agreed
bad
upon to
matchup
be
during testing?
the
Yeah.
worst the worst
Okay.
matchup for Prism. Just the worst matchup for Prism. And I knew my other bad matchups were Runeblades.
Oh yeah.
So I I specifically teched my deck. I actually like Jerome's list is already very teched to
Mm.
beating Viserai and Briar, because because we have a lot more rune blades in Belgium than we have 5 players. Um, so that felt pretty good actually. I got a lot of free wins, as they say. Prism just
Mm-hmm.
is unfortunately super favored into Guardians. So I and as well as Wizards as well. So ended up having um one Lexi round one, followed by 2 Bravos round 2 and 3, followed by a Prism Mirror, which I closely won. Was a very good player. I ended up sneaking out the win somehow at the end. I don't really remember. Then lost the Prism Mirror in round 5. Very good player from the States. I played against. Um, then I think I got an Icelander game, and from there on out, it was mostly just rune blades, and dashes. Yeah, I unfortunately played against Sebastien Spinard on dash for our second to last game the first day, which at that point we were both 5-1. He was on dash, I was on prism,
Mm-hmm.
and I it just didn't work out for him. He kept on drawing hands with like finishers and
Ah.
items where he had to choose between what to do, but he also had to keep clearing auras, so like he couldn't like present a lot of damage while he had to clean auras. And it's just like, even though in testing we found Dash to be quite decent into Prism, that game just like didn't go in his favor. Very unfortunate because of that. He lost that game. He also lost the next one and wasn't able to make day two. Um, so I ended up going 6-1. No, it's 7-1, 7-1 in on day one, only using the mirror. And then on day two, I played. I don't recall what I played in the first round, but I remember playing a dash afterwards and then
Mm.
another dash, so 2 dashes. And I don't know what it was against the dash players, but somehow I managed to win all 3 of my games into dash, which is not a favorite matchup,
Yeah, it's not really a
but
good matchup actually. She can hit hard and she can hit
yeah,
fast.
for
Yeah, and she
sure.
can clear auras pretty efficiently too. So
I mean, pistol for 1 resource
yeah.
into an aura is a pretty good
Thank you
deal. It's a
very
pretty
much.
good deal.
Yeah.
So those games were hard for sure. But yeah, I got a lot of double aura hands at the start of those games to like quickly build up a board presence. And some players had were able to play high octanes, but even then, they were already too far behind simply because I was high rolling too much with the auras. It's just something Prism does. I mean, maybe no longer, but yeah, that can just happen, and you can win games off of that. And then I faced 2 Spanish players in my last rounds who both beat me. One was on Prism, and the other one was on Viscerai. A very close game. I liked it a lot, but he managed to win in the end. The 2 Prisms I lost to were both siding in some aggro package, which I thought to be not that great in the mirror, but I guess they proved me wrong
Mm.
by beating me up with Phantasmaclasms and Fractal Replications.
Oh.
Pretty bad. Like, yeah,
Mm.
while I was developing auras, just pushing out way more damage than I could handle at that point, not fighting the poppers at the right time, and yeah, unfortunately lost those 2 games. So that was it for the open rounds of the tournament.
So at the end of the rounds, you were like what was your record like? Was there 12, 13 rounds?
It's 13 rounds, yes.
So
So at the end, I
you were
was
10-3.
yes, 10-3, but because I lost my last 2 rounds, those was like the
Very light.
deciding
Yeah.
factors for
Mm.
tiebreakers. I made top cut with in 7th place. It was a wild ride that last day actually, because someone that we knew was also doing that ride with me. Nacho, as we know him, came to our house on Thursday evening, I think, just to like jam some games and play with us. A very friendly dude from Chile.
Ah,
I
yeah.
was playing Dorinthia, and I ran Fi into Dorinthia to test for Glenn to see how the match would go while they were going to
Mm-hmm.
the reception, I think, the player meeting. on Thursday evening. He came by and we just jammed some games. I played some Vi into his Zorintia. I played some Kano in the Zorintia. It was very fun, and he was absolutely smashing it. Like truly unbelievable. He managed to beat two prisms and like 6, 7, I don't know how many rune blades he was able to beat on the Rintia, but like unbelievably skilled. How he was able to navigate that all. It was truly wild. And like we were like like had a lot of good time on that final day together, where we were like, oh, you won, oh, I won as well, and like it was unbelievable because we both didn't have any expectations going into this, but like managed to do so well. It was very nice. And then the unfortunate thing happened, which was that in
Yeah,
top eight,
you
he had
faced each
second
other. Mm.
spot and I had seventh spot, and we were each other's first round pairings, which you can see
Yeah.
on the video. It's still there. It's the first round of the
Unfortunately
stream.
for him, because it's a pretty bad matchup. Even if he manages to squeak 1 or 2 wins during the tournament, it had to end sometimes, right? Prism
Yes,
is
he
really
also
strong into the NTR.
yes he lost his final round for like the first or second place against the Prism. That was
Mm.
Jose, I believe, from Spain, who beat me the round before. Like
Yeah.
truly very good player. Um, yeah, he already beat him, and that made it so he was second. And I lost to Jose's friend, I believe, on the Viscerai, which made me drop down to seventh. But like very good performance. So I was very sad for him because I knew going in that there was almost next to no chance that he was going to win this, because not only was I playing Prism, which is his worst matchup, I was also running 11 defense reactions, which
Yeah.
are nigh unbeatable for Dorinthia, because it just messes with her game plan. She tries to like bait you into blocking badly and then have the step over with like, oh, I have this reaction, but if the opponent like almost every turn has a defense reaction to say no, but I actually have this, then it's just almost an unplayable matchup, as well as the deck can't really deal with auras, of course, on the board.
Yeah.
So um,
And I guess that's one of the problems when you're playing with someone that you tested with, is that you knew his list. I mean, even if Dorinthea is not the most surprising deck most of the times, maybe he had some text that you knew about.
um, no, nothing in
Okay.
particular. He
Didn't
was
even
just
need it.
he was just really a master of the craft, as I
Yeah.
would as I would say. Not many people play Dorinthia,
Mm.
and certainly not at such a good
At that
level. I
level, yeah.
think as Nacho was able to like really understood his list, knew very much what he was up against. Like knew all his opponent's decks, um, and that gave him like a great edge, I think.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I ended up facing him round one, of the top eight, and I ended up meeting him, but he took it very well, because I mean, like we were friendly with each other the whole tournament long, and he knew this was a possibility. And yeah, it was better late, I guess, than early.
Yeah.
So he made top eight, which was already like very nice. I don't think many people expected the Dorinthia to top
Mm.
eight, but
Absolutely, yeah. It was
amazing.
surprising to a lot of people, yeah, especially us in the booth. We were like, wow, there's a Dorinthia, we need to cast this one.
Yeah, as well as even James White was impressed.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it's pretty cool to see that these heroes that sometimes are forgotten, they come back into the limelight at the last second, at the on the big stage in big events like that. Even Boltin was having a very good showing at the PT. It was played by a master too, Josh Lau, and he played it masterfully. We saw it on stream. I got very excited about it. But he had a pretty good record on CC. Don't remember exactly, but he had way more wins than losses actually. And yeah, seeing Dorinthia was fine. So yeah, you beat him with Prism, and then it was you had to beat another. It was another Briar, right?
yeah, my final two opponents were two people
It
from
was
the
only, yeah, Ring
Polish
Blades all the
team.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was people from the Polish team. Very good players who had like a very good Briar list as well. They played in the Pro Tour to good success. I think some of them managed to top eight there, and they played in the Calling also very well. I mean, they managed to get like third and first and second with it, right? So like the list was very tight, very good. They played it
Mhm.
exceptionally well. It's just that um, in the semifinals, I think I got a very good like mid game. My start wasn't very impressive, but in the mid game I was able to ramp up some auras like very aggressively.
Yeah, I
Took a
saw
bunch
your
of
board at some
damage.
point. You had a huge board, and it seemed impressive to have that much of a board against a Briar that can efficiently deal with the auras. So yeah, I think you felt pretty good during this game.
Yeah, but it was very tight because at the end he raced my face and it was going pretty hard. But then I ended up like having to gamble because I think I was like at 5 or something. I had a bunch of auras, but no parable or something to like reduce the damage that I was taking. So if he was coming at me with like a big hand, I believe he was like almost at 20 life still. Even though I have a bunch of auras, it still takes me a couple of turns to be able to get the win.
Mm,
So I gambled a bit, and I decided to keep an erudition with a pierce reality on board. I swung erudition for 7 dominates. Seeing that some of his poppers were already gone, I just hoped that he didn't have one in hand
mm,
that would like immediately win me
yeah.
the game because I would be able to deal 8 damage. I had an auto wrath in play, as well as just redraw 2 cards, and that's what happened. So I was able to win the game because of that little gamble. I think the gamble was in my favor. At that point, I kind of calculated it would be, but still, it's a risk to take. I took it and it paid off uh, to win that game.
And then an amazing finals. We cast it with the release, so we saw it all, and you can just check the replay on the main YouTube channel from Fab TCG, from Flesh and Blood, and it was an amazing finals. It's out for us to gauge, but was it a very good game for you? Do you remember it as a very interesting game, or
I
was it
I
like
will I will remember it very fondly,
yeah,
but I don't know if my opponent will, because
that
he was
ending, man?
he was no not sure that was one part, but he was very ahead during all of the game
Mm,
basically. But I feel like at the end, like because it felt like he had a little bit of nerves,
yeah.
and he was like very anxious to like, because he was winning to like get it over with and claim his trophy. That's why like I think he twice tried to lightning press me on the first attack, which was like a little weird. Because like you'd rather like save it for like a later attack when you've seen more of my defenses or
Mm-hmm.
my blockers, or what I can do. Like really try to close out the game quickly. But then I always had like something in response. I had something to to make me not lose the game, which was like the name of the game actually at that point. I was clinging on to their life as he was like coming in aggressively turn after turn. But
By
yeah,
the way, he was completely ignoring your Shimmers of Silver, who stayed on the board for like 4 or 5 turns. I don't remember exactly, but it became huge at some point.
it
What
was
did you
the
think about that move? Do you think it was interesting to try to go to the face right away and to push as much damage as possible,
I
ignoring
think
such
it
an
was
important aura?
it was I think it was just nerves. Like probably if he played the same game in
Mm,
like another round, he probably would have just cleared it, taking the safe line because even though you might say, well, there is a very high chance that if I go face here with the Rosetta, um, the prison player is not able to block efficiently, and will be able to, and I will bleed damage, and next turn I will have lethal, and I think that in like maybe 75% of of cases that'll be the case, and you'll just win the game next round because your line just is so
mm,
aggressive, and I might just have some orders in hand that are not able to block efficiently.
yeah.
But the thing is that the 25% that actually can, you're giving me a window back into the game, and at that point I'm playing to win because I'm losing. But I think he was playing to win as well, to win as quickly as possible. Well, I think for him it might have been the right strategy to play to not lose, as as to just like eliminate any possibility of me winning the game because he was so far ahead, rather than just trying to like get it over as quickly as
Yeah.
possible. And that's what probably made him ignore the shimmers, which then run out of hand because the fact that I drew ALS after that, and I was able to like stall and stall and stall, and of course every turn I stall the shimmers get bigger until it ran, completely wild, attacking for 5. I think was the last
Yeah.
attack.
And he had to
Um,
deal with it at some point, which was Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
all
in the
that
end,
for
like
nothing basically because he had to kill it. So.
in the end, he had to acknowledge his mistake and kill
Mm.
it off. But by the time I was able to like, I wouldn't say stabilize. I was at one health, so I wouldn't really call that like a stable position. But I was able to bring him down a lot lower, and then finish it off with a combo of merciful and auto rat.
Yeah, it is a win as long as you're not to zero. It's okay. I mean, you had absolutely no way to protect yourself from the Rosetta, so you had to get rid of his hand. And at the end, you kept attacking with your Raz and the. I mean, can we talk just for one? I mean, as long as you want about this last play, about this last turn, because it felt like everything you needed was coming into your hand at that point. It was like it was
Uh,
fate, you know? You
yes,
needed
yes,
that.
like that auto wrath, the second auto wrath was very clutch, like allowing me to like present because I was as actually sixth life.
Yeah.
So by having a second auto wrath on board, I needed only 2 instances of damage to kill him. And because I had no more soul, that was going to be very hard because without soul, I am unable to make like spectral shield.
Mm.
So I could not like it's not like I could create another spectral shield to like make to whenever I would draw merciful to have like additional triggers and like deal more damage. So I was very happy to like I had the option the run before to play parable or to play old, but I felt like at that point it was wrong for me to like play to not lose and play the parable so that I would prolong the game. At that point it felt like I was so far behind I needed to play to win, play the auto wrath and see if I could somehow sneak in the damage because I was very aware that I don't know how many hands I had left, but I'm pretty sure until I had the second cycle of
Mm.
the deck, but I'm pretty sure there were still two merciful retributions in my deck which I hadn't seen. I only had played one then I seen one that game, so I was pretty confident that
He was coming. Yeah.
my next hand could contain a merciful
Mm.
retribution. Like I think the chance was very high. So I was like, okay, this is something that I can play towards. And he didn't block my shield, and going to 3 was, I think, probably a mistake on his part as well. Not respecting the merciful
Yeah.
retribution there at the end.
Can you explain for the people that didn't watch it and maybe it will make them want to watch it how the game ended because it was really interesting and when we watched it we are obviously really excited because we know you and we are happy for you but it was also a really nice play.
Yeah, so the turn before I attacked with Auto Wrath, all of my auras had go again, of course, because I pitched the yellow, and because I had 2 on the battlefield, and he had 6 life, I was bound to strip some cards away from his hand. Now, he probably looked at his hand and knew that he had lethal or like that he could present more arcane damage than I could possibly block. For instance, I was at 1 life and I only had 1 spectral shield, so if you could remove the spectral somehow, the Rosetta was always going to be lethal with the arcane. So instead of blocking both attacks, he only blocked one attack, went down to 3. And then the next on his turn, he attacked with Enlightened Strike for 5 arcane. Now that was a very good attack actually,
Mm.
because the Enlightened Strike, which was 5 attack, I had nothing left. He cracked my footsteps with the Lightning Press. I'd used all of my equipment block at that point. The only thing I had left was the No Rune gloves, which were protecting me very, very well from all the arcane damage that was coming in, of course. Um, but the attack for 5 was very annoying because it I had 1 shield, and so I can't cleanly block it with a 3 block. I need to like double block it. But what he did was the turn before I played some ALS or something, and he made rune chants.
Yeah.
So the rune chants always come in before the physical attack, and he presented 2 rune chants before the enlightened strike. And I looked at my hands, and it was I think 3 heralds and 1 aura, merciful retribution. So I play the merciful retribution, and the rune chant comes in 1 by 1. So the first rune chant will destroy my spectral shield,
Mm-hmm.
which will then trigger the merciful retribution to deal 1 arcane damage to him. And then because I had 2 auto wrath on board, he lost 2 life, bring him down to 0.
It was incredible.
It
I'm
was a
telling.
very Prism way to
Yeah.
finish the game.
I mean, for Prism players, it's business as usual, maybe. But when you watch them, and when you, I mean, we've watched a lot of Prism games. But when the game ends like that, because sometimes you do that kind of damage during the course of the game, but you don't do it just at the end to finish your opponent off. And especially playing it as an instant, it was really really impressive. So then
Yep.
you win. At that point, you just win the tournament. But and we saw you really excited about it. You had the eye of the Fidia sleeve, so it was really nice it was a really nice touch. Thank you, by the way, for rocking them and for helping
I
them get to the finish line with you, obviously. So, well, yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but at what point did you realize what was going to happen? That you had, was that when you were on the podium, or as soon as you finished the game, when you went to see your friends? When was the moment when you realized that you were the champ?
I realized it the moment I played the merciful. That's what I knew, but I needed to control my
Yeah.
emotions until my opponents like gave the sign that the game was over, because like I don't want to like be hype while he's still thinking or
Mm.
like doing something. So of course I was very elated when he gave me the fist bump for victory, and and yeah, like also of course, because at that point as well, the whole stadium in Lille erupted in some cheering. Not specifically for me, I mean
Yeah.
partly for me, but more importantly because Prism was living legend
Yeah.
with his victory. And I think a lot of people, especially Guardian players, were very happy with this result, so that they wouldn't have to face Prism for their national.
What do you think actually about the fact that you're the one that made Prism go to Living Legends? What do the other players, maybe Jerome, for example, what do they think about that? Are they happy that that she's gone?
For me personally,
What do you? Yeah.
I don't mind. It's like an extra, like a added achievement,
Mm,
like in some
it
way,
is. Yeah.
because now I had James White sign a Cold Foil Spectral Shield with the words "the man who living legend Prism." So I will
Amazing.
keep that as an additional
Yeah.
trophy actually forever. So no, certainly it's amazing. As for me personally, I don't really mind, because I myself also enjoy me some wizard from time to time, and playing against Prism was
Yeah.
not the most enjoyable experience. So I certainly understand where a lot of players got their frustration from. The Spectre mechanic is very oppressive, as it taxes your opponent's action points in such an unprecedented way, actually, that a lot of decks were just not able, like, didn't have the tools to deal with such taxation. Um, and I'm fine going to search for something else and learn something new. Um, and I think it's fine. She will come back. Light Illusionist will come back. They will print another Light Illusionist somewhere down the road, and she will be able to be played probably later down the line in the Living Legend format. So my cards will go on the shelf for now, but I think I will be using them sometime in the future.
So you're keeping them. You're
Yes,
not
for
the kind
sure.
of player who's gonna sell his phantasmal footsteps and try
No,
to. You're keeping it all. As
no,
a,
I'm
are you
keeping it
keeping the
now.
deck? The
No,
exact
because
lect? Are you the kind of guy that keeps these kinds of mementos? Keeping the deck in the box and maybe making sure that it becomes like some kind of a trophy, or you? Is it already?
no, I did a deck profile with Fabled Academy. I think where the deck is laid out in full. So if I ever forget what some of the pieces were, I will can always go back to that. But
Yeah, I
no,
mean
I will
the deck list is also on the website, so you'll never lose it. But I as an object,
exactly.
maybe I keep it as a something that could be used as a trophy, maybe. But
No, there are some cards in there that I need for other decks. So I will. I'm not. I'm not at the point where I'm like, oh, I'll just buy 3 new copies of that card because I'm playing it because it's still stuck in my my special deck. Like, no, I'll just take them out and play them somewhere else.
And do you have the gold foil close to you that you could maybe show to the camera the card you received as a trophy? Oh my god, here it is.
I don't know if
Uh,
it's very visible,
yeah, it's hard
but
to
like
see it,
this
but
this
yeah,
angle,
we
you
can
can probably see
yeah
it
we can pretty much
pretty
see that
well.
it looks amazing. It's a Crown of Providence. It's one of the best cards in the new set.
Yes.
It's crazy, right?
It's amazing. Yeah, I never thought I'd have something like this, but now I do. It's the fun fact. It's my first Crown of Providence. I didn't
All
have
right.
any other. I didn't open any from my uprising boxes, nor did I need to buy any. It's because in the decks that I play in, I didn't really need it. I was on Skullcap
Mm-hmm.
for this Prism
Yeah.
deck, and my Icelander deck plays the other crown.
Cornet Peak.
Oh, yeah, Coronet Peak, exactly. So I had no need for a Crown of Province, but yeah, it's very very nice,
I think it's pretty
very
good to
nice.
have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so what's the plan now? Because you have a PTI obviously, and you can do whatever you want with it, and worlds are coming up. So what's the plan, Joris? Are we gonna see you more on the competitive circuit?
Um, Probably yes.
Mm-hmm.
I can make no promises about results, considering this was an outlier, I think, for me. But I will be competing in the Belgian National Championship, of course,
In
which will be held
three
24th of
weeks? Oh,
September, I
yeah.
think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I am planning to go to the World Championship for sure. Even though I have zero expectations for that event, I think just the experience alone might be worth the trip.
Well, you had no expectations coming into the calling, and then you won it. So I guess that's pretty good sign that you can do something. Do you, if we were to ask you, I mean, I'm asking you the question now, but what what would you play if you had to choose now today? Which deck would you
Um,
pick up?
if I
Because
if I
you
had
need
to
to pick,
play
yeah.
a deck right now, it would probably be Icelander, simply because it's the only other deck in this metagame that I have experience on.
But you think it has a
Um,
good chance now that Prism is gone? Is that a good choice?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, because
I'm
for
a better
Icelander,
chance.
Prism
Yeah.
was like the worst matchup.
Hmm.
I haven't tested into Briar a lot, which is like, well, as a lot of people proved today, I like this weekend over the course of the Pro Tour and the Calling, Briar is a very real
Yeah.
deck and quite possibly at the top of the aggro food chain. So if that's the deck to beat, then I'll thoroughly have to test the Icelander versus Briar matchup to see if it is winnable for either side, and how and what deck cards can be brought in to make the matchup better, etc., etc. Because I am expecting a lot of both decks in the upcoming season for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a whole new meta, so it's hard to know what to expect. How are you gonna prepare for the next few events? You have the Belgian nationals, so are you coming back to the same testing team, or are you maybe on your own now that you're a champ and they're looking at you like you've won enough, man? Leave us alone.
I don't think so. I think it'll be the same people that I'll probably be testing with. Um, and maybe a little bit more serious now. I don't know. I we tested a lot, but until like Lille, I never took it like very
Hmm.
seriously. Yeah, I tested and I played some tournaments and stuff like that. But maybe I'll see if I can put in some more time and effort now to like really get things nailed down.
Yeah, because yeah, at some point you have to when you win an event like that, you have to think, well, maybe I'm good enough to go all the way at other events.
Um, I I don't think so, but but I'll definitely try. I'll
Stop
give it
being
my all.
humble, man.
And
Stop being so
and
humble. Is that something? Maybe it's a more personal question, so don't hesitate and don't answer it if you want it. But did you talk about this win to the people closest to you, to your family? Is that something that they're proud of and that they expected to see at some point in the future? Is that how did how did your family react?
Um, yeah, they're very happy for me. They're not too fond of me,
Spending your
like
time playing games?
yeah, exactly, spending my time playing games and stuff, but they understand it. Like over the years, they've come to like understand it. Also, like I play chess, not at like a super competitive level, but I play chess tournaments and I like that a lot. And they're very happy for me that I won something. They don't understand anything of it. Like I showed them some video and they were like,
Mm.
"Yeah, this is whatever. It has no meaning for them." But the fact that I was very happy with something made them very happy with something. So yeah, no, they're happy and I have their support for this, I feel.
Well, we are all very happy for you, my friend. It was a really nice win, and I always say this, and it sounds cheesy to a lot of people, but you're one of the nicest guys I've met in the community, and I like it. I like when good guys win. I like good feel good movies where good guys win. So seeing you there on the podium, it made my day. I'm sure it did the same for a lot of other people. So congratulations again, man. And thanks for answering my questions. I guess we'll see you soon in Belgium and then probably at Worlds.
Yeah, I will be seeing you again, that's for sure.
Cool. Is there something that you want to add? Maybe add some kind of message to the community or to someone that you haven't talked about during the interview? Is that.
Not directly, I think, but I wish to shout out the whole Belgian community, of course. There are a lot of awesome people in
Yeah,
there, and
I
I have
agree.
nothing but good interactions with everyone there. I really like them a lot, and I'm happy that we have such a friendly and open, even though still somewhat competitive, because we have a lot of good players. As I said, I don't see myself as like the best player in Belgium. There are a lot of like very talented people, and also up and coming, like joining the
Mm.
game, getting better. So yeah, I'm very excited for what the future will bring with them.
Thank you so much, Joris. And yeah, once again, I'll see you soon. Thank you all for watching this video and this interview. Don't hesitate and click the like button, subscribe, and let us know what else you'd like to see on the channel. We usually speak in French, so I'm doing this in English for the first time in a while. So don't hesitate and tell us if you want more of these interviews. Maybe we could go catch the other guys that won this weekend. Thank you so much, Joris. See you around. Bye.
Bye.